minute, but it's time for us to rank our top 10 prospects in the Mets system. We've been teasing you guys this for a while. After the trade deadline, after everything that's gone down, Mets have a pretty good farm system still. So we want to go through and give you guys our top 10 prospects in the Mets farm system as of right now, time of recording, August 15th. Some quick stipulations. You can't have made an appearance in the major leagues. So Nolan McLean at the time of recording hasn't pitched yet. He'll be on this list, but guys like Christian Scott, Luis Angel Acuna, those types of players will not make this list, and I don't think even Acuna technically qualifies for it anymore. But James, should we just get started? You want to get us going? Because I think we know exactly who's going to be coming in at number one.
Absolutely. There's no debate right now as to who the Mets' number one prospect is. It's Carson Benge, outfielder from Oklahoma State, who they just drafted last season, who's taken the entire prospect minor league baseball world by storm. Like, not only is he the Mets' absolute, I think, clear top prospect, he's become something that's a top 10 prospect in baseball, almost without debate at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Benge has just dominated every level he's been at this year. He has a 172 WRC plus across 3 different levels. It's very small at AAA, but across 3 different levels, has a 172 WRC plus this year. It's one of the highest in all of minor league baseball. He's walking 14% of the time. He's striking out less than 20%. The average for the average people is over 300. The OPS is over 900. He's hitting for power too. The exit velos are great. He can play center field. This is about as a complete of prospect as the Mets have had in a very long time.
I think that this is the best college bat the Mets have had that they've brought through the system that I can ever remember, truthfully. Because he's gotten some comps to Michael Conforto recently. People are like, is he similar to Conforto? Michael Conforto, he can't even hold Carson Benge's jockstrap compared to what he's done so far in the minor leagues a year after being drafted. Carson Benge went to Brooklyn this year. Very tough place for left-handed hitters to hit, find power. 900 OPS in 60 games. Then he went up to Binghamton for 32 games. 1,000 OPS. So going up a level, again, while the atmospheric conditions were a little more favorable, he got better. And now he's already in AAA a year after being drafted. We're hearing rumblings that he might be the Mets opening day center fielder in 2026. And everything happening under the hood is as good, if not better, than the things we're actually seeing on the surface level. We have a great stat from Lance Brozdowski, some double-A batted ball data, 93.3 average mile per hour average exit velocity in his fly balls and line drives, where the league average is 88 miles per hour. That 93.3 average exit velocity on fly balls and line drives, same as Kyle Tucker, the major league level.
Ooh.
Kind of a good player, right? Another left-handed outfield bat. And there were some concerns with Benge as to how much he could pull or lift the ball. That was kind of the main thing that held him back in the draft. Made people think that it was kind of like more of a Brandon Nimmo adjacent type of ceiling. But he's doing both of those way better. And we just drafted him a year ago. And another big question for Benge was that he was a corner outfielder. It's like, can he play center field? Because if you're a corner outfielder, a lot more of the pressure goes onto your bat without that much defensive value. Everything that we're hearing about him in center field this year is great. He can actually handle at major league level. Better jumps, better routes. Like, it's all come together beautifully to turn him into like a literal super prospect.
Yeah, I simply think if you don't have Carson Benge as the best prospect in the system, it's like, what are you looking for? What kind of baseball are you watching?
What does he have to do?
What does he have to do to make you think that he is not just the best prospect in the Mets system? Like you mentioned earlier, he is one of the 10 best prospects in baseball. Like real prospect people not looking at Pipeline, like look at Baseball America and other stuff, like those people have him with some serious helium this year.
Prospectus as well. And there has been some talks this year from those prospect people that this is right now a relatively weaker group of top 100, top 50 prospects. But at this moment, he's top 10 prospect. We're not going to play in the margins game with that. Another cool thing with Benge, we talk a lot about how the Mets have had to get creative with their draft processes, just the way they go about it, just because we lose the pick every single year. We go back 10 slots because of the CBT fourth threshold penalties. Benge is a former two-way player. Nolan McLean, who we're going to talk about later, former two-way player. Mitch Voigt, who I don't know if he made your list. He didn't exactly make mine. He's going to be my honorable mentions.
Didn't make mine.
Another former two-way player. There's a lot of unexpected runway in these former two-way players. When you're splitting your time between pitching and hitting, and then you start to only do one of those things, you can do a lot of development quickly. So we're talking about Carson Benge's batted ball quality going up, his swing decision staying great, his directional ability on his batted balls going up, and his defensive ability going up at the same time. You can speed run development because this player's never focused on all those things at the same time before. And I think that while the Mets have had to get more creative, that's an avenue they've gone down, and that's one that's been a resounding success.
Real quick, before we get going into more about the Mets, this episode is sponsored by Moomoo, a free investing app that's now an official sponsor of the New York Mets. And look, Moomoo's actually doing a lot for Mets fans, maybe even more than the front office, because Moomoo is giving away tickets to Mets fans for every Monday home game this season because of Moomoo Mondays. That's right, just for being a user, you have the opportunity to get free tickets to a Mets game on Mondays at Citi Field. Plus, they're running a wild promo right now where if the Mets win 100 games, one lucky Moomoo user will win $1 million. And even when the Mets hit 50 and hopefully 75 soon, they're giving out thousands in prizes as well to Moomoo users. Moomoo also gives you up to 60 free stocks when you make your first deposit, and you can earn 8.1% APY on uninvested cash for 3 months. That's real money just sitting there that you are going to earn interest on. It's got pro-level tools, it has research, it has zero commission trades. Moomoo not only wants you to invest on the app, but it wants you to learn so you know how to invest better. It's really helped me understand the market and understand what I should be investing in even more. So join the 26 million users already on Moomoo today. Go to my link, start.moomoo.com/giraffeneckmark, or click the link in the description of this video to get started today. No, Carson Benge feels like an absolute home run right now. Both of our number one prospects in the system. I got a feeling we're both going to have the same number 2 as well.
Think so.
I went with Jonah Tong.
Yep. Same here.
Jonah Tong number 2. I mean, he is quickly becoming maybe the best pitching prospect in all of minor league baseball, which is not even crazy to say at this point. The strikeout rate is unbelievable. He's already at AAA as a 21-year-old. Everything that you see from this kid, 22, day in and day out, just makes you believe that he's not just one of the best pitching prospects in baseball, a guy who could be a frontline starter for this Mets team in the future.
It's also cool been watching the growth and the way that he's gotten the national media this season because it's so deserved, because he did this last year and it started to kind of get into the minds and the feeds of all like the prospect people. But now this year, having the most strikeouts in AA by 44 strikes over the next closest guy, someone who we're going to talk about later, weirdly enough, at least I'm going to talk about, but also having a 40% strikeout rate at the time, beginning of the season, 21-year-old AA, like you said, in 100 innings, 1.59 ERA, looked despicably good in the futures game, striking out Harry Ford, who's a much more developed, older prospect than Jonah Tong with a very advanced plate discipline. 30% strikeout minus walk rate, which is 10 percentage points closest of the next closest guy in AA too. Another guy we're going to talk about. It's disgusting how much better he was than every pitcher at that level this season. And at the same time, growing literally as a human being. Jonah Tong was always like this little wiry guy. He's gotten comps to Tim Lincecum, which is funny because he has this big side-winding, overarching windup like that. I put up the freeze frame on my Twitter a few weeks ago about how much he extends his legs upwards, where he kind of looks like a figure skater at times. It got hundreds of thousands of impressions because people are like, who's this little freak? But he also, at the same time, has pushed up his velocity this season. He's now up to 99. He was someone who the fastball shape was so good, the top of the zone from his really high release, like 21, 22 inches of induced vertical break, that he could live in the 94, 95 range where he was. Now he's throwing 99. It's like, what else does he have to do?
Yeah, not anything for me. I'm pretty sold. He might be one of the 5 best pitchers in this Mets organization right now. I don't think they're going to call him up, but I think it'd be hard to find 6 better guys than him right now.
Oh, definitely, because he's also made more changes this year. We always talked about how he needed the third pitch because he had the fastball and the curveball. Now he has a changeup that people think is plus. Another great shout from Lance Braz getting this minor league data. That changeup has a 46% zone miss rate since beginning of June.
Yeah.
27% is league average. So even when that pitch is in the zone, people are just swinging and missing about half of the time. And it tunnels so well with that fastball just because that high release point, the changeup just kind of falls down off of it. Like, it's amazing. Even if you go all the way back since the beginning of 2024, mixed between low A, high A, and then even getting into AA beginning of that season, 215 innings, 322 strikeouts, 2.34 ERA. That is just like blinking lights. Holy shit, this guy's ridiculous. Now we're about to get data at AAA and just a big test to see if he can throw more strikes. 11% walk rate is high, but he still strikes everybody out. And then see if he gets similar pitch movement with the Major League Baseball that they use in AAA.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what we get out of Jonah Tong in his first couple starts down in Syracuse. Well, I guess up in Syracuse at AAA. All right, number 3, is it the same guy again? Or
I think so.
Nolan McLean?
I had Jet.
Ooh, okay. I went Nolan McLean.
Okay.
Interesting. All right, so I went Jet 4. Did you go McLean 4? Okay, so let's just talk about both of them then. What do you want to start with?
Let's start with McLean, because McLean's top of everybody's mind right now, heading to the Mets.
Pitching today.
His video's coming out Saturday, so he's pitching, making his Major League debut. Amazing. He's gotten some great pub on Twitter on Friday, as Eno Saris said he had the best stuff plus of any big prospect in AAA. Lance Brosdowski said because of the depth of repertoire and the type of spin he gets in his pitches, might actually be the best pitching prospect in the league right now is not being talked about. And I think there's a chance that's true, while also understanding, like, I'm in a weird spot right now, Nolan McLean, where I'm so excited from the pitch. I think he's going to be really good. But I'll almost be mad if he's dominant because of how long we've waited to pitch him this season.
No, this is like such a weird thing that I think only us Mets fans will ever understand and be able to explain, where he pitches well, you're like, shit, why hasn't he been up earlier? He could have helped this team. He pitches poorly, you're like, shit, what do we do? What goes on? He has an okay start, you're like, shit, what's the deal with him? What kind of pitcher is he? Like, there's almost, I mean, obviously we're going to be happy if he pitches well. I want that to be very clear. We're going to be like, wow, this is amazing. But the little Met crazy fan in the back of my head will be like, should have been up in June, should have been up in July. We really needed this guy. He has the ability to be very good, but as we say on every podcast, especially with these young players, we don't want them to be the saviors. That's a lot of pressure for a guy who's coming into a pretty intense situation right now.
Intense and hostile, like basically being tasked to save this rotation after they've been other turbo dog shit for two straight months now. But there's something cool about McLean. We mentioned in the last episode of the podcast, if you guys didn't listen to that, after the horrific Braves series, but similar to what we talked about with Benge, a lot of developments happen quickly because he just stopped hitting the beginning of last season. This is Nolan McLean's first year ever pitching full time, not getting in the box and taking hacks. So while that's happened, the Mets knew as a fastball was not a good fastball guy with a sweeper, like he was going to be some struggles against left-handed batters. He's added a cutter and a curveball and a changeup all to the repertoire over the last year. The curveball especially looks like it has the chance to be like a plus pitch. Like it has plus drop. It's getting 50% whiff rate AAA. Like it has everything. He just doesn't know if he's gotten the consistency with that pitch yet, knowing where it's going to be, where the major league hitters can't see it coming from a mile away. And he's got a sinker that's a better pitch than his fastball that'll be just decimate the righties with that sweeper. Like it's a chance to be special, but there's also a chance for a roadblock against left-handed batters initially.
Of course, that's something that we will definitely monitor to keep a close eye on, and we'll see how he does against the Mariners today. You guys are literally listening to this podcast. He's going to be pitching in a few hours or currently, or he pitched already. Whatever time you watch this, we will have some information on Nolan McLean. Jet Williams now, the guy that I had 4, you had 3. Just simply put, he's just still a dog. He's just still really good. Hits for a high average, gets on base a ton, still strikes out a little bit, but like also because he gets on base so much, who really cares? I mean, if I told you that Jet Williams strikes out a little bit more than you'd expect, but had a 284 average, a 400 on base basically on the season, you'd be pretty excited. You'd be pretty pumped. Plays good shortstop. His ISO is like weirdly high too. He's got pop in that bat. I think that's always the thing that people get nervous about when you see a smaller player like Jet, but he hits the ball extremely hard and he hits it in the air and he hits for power. He's awesome. Like these 4 guys that the Mets have, these guys are all inside like the top 30, 40 prospects in Major League Baseball.
Oh, for sure.
That's how much better this system has got.
The next few guys we'll name are also probably still sneaking inside the top 50 to top 75. Like the depth of the system right now puts the Mets, I think Pipeline even just ranked them as one of the top 10 systems in baseball. I think they were number 7. And I think even some other outlets might even stretch them a little higher. But Jets played 3 games so far at AAA. Exit velocities of 108, 107, 105, 104, 103, 102, 101. That's 7 balls hit harder than 101 miles per hour in just 3 games. That's a lot of hard hit baseballs in the first 3 games at a new level. One of those was a single A from this year in a rehab start. So still 6. Still 6 this year above 101 miles an hour in just 3 games of AAA. It's a great sign. And there are some concerns that the strikeout rate ticks up a bit as he goes up a level, and maybe the walk rate doesn't come with him. But also, he's played 3 games AAA, hasn't struck out yet. If he can just even maintain a 25% to 10% strikeout rate, walk rate, with his power, with his speed, with his defensive ability, him and Benge have both been mixing in center field in AAA, so it's going to be funny to see how they navigate the playing time for those 2 guys. But this is a premium defender with plus athleticism, legitimate power. Like even for his size, like lifts the ball, pulls the ball. Like if you were to tell me right now, the guy who's the number 1 overall pick in the last draft, Travis Bazzana, versus Jet Williams, there's a conversation there.
I think there's totally a conversation, especially because Jet plays shortstop and center field and Bazzana's a second baseman.
Yes.
I don't truly know what Bazzana does much better than Jet Williams, to be honest.
And like both probably top out as like a 15 to 20 homer guy.
Yes.
And Jet maybe gets a lower average but a higher on base percentage.
So it's like
and plays better defense and steals more bases.
Positions. Yeah, like he's just really good. I think
he's
that's
awesome.
Like we always used to joke about how Jet was going to be the guy that they traded. I think David Stern's guy here is like, we can't trade this guy. Have you seen him? He's a beast. We can't get rid of this guy.
Also, a lot of Mets fans have become obsessed with the Brewers' success, just given the connection with David Stearns. The Brewers are littered with guys like this. The whole Brewers team plays like Jet Williams. Like Caleb Durbin's a
Bryce Duran.
Caleb Durbin's a worse version of Jet Williams. Like Sal Frelick. Like all of these guys are different versions of this like Jet Williams archetype.
And they like don't hit for the power that Jet has.
No, not even close. Like Jet Williams actually can hit 20 home runs at major league level. Like we've seen him get to like the 111 exit velocity threshold. If he gets one in AAA, it's like 112. It's totally on. We could have a 25 homer bat here that plays premium defense with incredible swing decisions and some of the best speed in the league.
If Jet hits one 112, we're probably looking at another top 10 prospect in baseball. Yeah, like that simple.
We're throwing a party. And if he can, maybe just shortens up the swing and becomes a contact guy with 12 homers and plays premium defense. Like there's so many avenues for a guy like Jet Williams to find success that I'm just confident that it happens, weirdly enough. The dog days of summer means it's time for the boys of summer to kick it into gear. And the best way to cash in on your baseball IQ is with DraftKings Sportsbook. Never bet on baseball before? It's simple. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
No, he's awesome. All right, number 5, James. Who did you have at number 5?
I got Brandon Sproat, number 5.
I got Brandon Sproat too. Man, what an interesting podcast. We just agree on everything.
I think there'll be some less agreements as we go further down this list, but I think this Mets top 5 is chalk.
Yes.
It's hard to kind of deviate very much from what we had here. Again, the slight rankings in the middle were different, but I mean, while Brandon Sproat's had a bad season, like he's still considered, by all accounts and all measures, a good, solid, sturdy future major league middle rotation starting pitcher. And almost no doubt about that. We thought that there was that top line, front line potential on it. A lot of people in the industry threw cold water on that. Of course, they were right. Hats off to them. But you know what? Brandon Sproat still has a lot of things in his bag that if that happened at some point in his career, I would not be shocked.
Yeah, and over the last few months, he's made major improvements at AAA. He'd hit a bit of a snag. He'd hit a bit of a roadblock. It had been giving him trouble. You've mentioned on podcasts before, couldn't get left-handed batters out. But now that he's made these adjustments over the last month or two, we're seeing that kind of excitement that we once had with Sproat last year, where it's like, oh, he's mowing guys down. He's striking people out. People are not getting good contact. He's not giving up runs. He's going deeper into games. Sproat is still a very, very good player. It's a little bit of prospect fatigue almost at times.
All right, we're working on now an 8-start stretch from Sproat. After, again, he had a 6 ERA through his first 2 months of the AAA season. It was bad. After hitting a bit of a roadblock towards the end of last season, which, again, that dampens the ace potential, and we're about to go through the same thing with Tong right now. But now watching him with a 30% strikeout rate over his last 8 starts, a 2.13 ERA, getting those left-handed batters out, the swing and miss coming back, still getting near the 10% walk rate, but still not walking a ton of guys. Like, you're seeing, like, okay, this is, again, still should be considered at least one of the top 100 prospects in baseball. I've seen him drop off the top 100 list recently, and I still don't think that's fair considering the guy throws 100 miles an hour with the pedigree that he put forward in AA and now doing it for a little bit period of time in AAA again.
Yeah, I think he's definitely around that 90 to 100 range right now if you're doing a top 100 prospects in baseball. That's kind of where I would put him, and I do think...
There's 100 miles an hour. It helps a lot with 5 other pitchers coming off that.
Yeah, and that's just because we've seen the roadblock. We just need to see more of the good stuff again, which he'd done at every other level. Sometimes it takes a second. It's okay. Brandon Sproat doesn't need to be an ace today on August 15th. I mean, It would help, but we don't need it.
And we just know how much that these organizations, especially the Mets, give these guys quickly, how many things they're changing. Sproat especially, they've helped him develop this sweeper that looks like just visually one of the nastiest pitches of any pitcher that we have in the minor leagues. And that pitch this year is the 35% whiff rate AAA. Like, it's disgusting. But when you give guys new pitches, change grips, change things, like you can change arm slots a little bit, it forced Sproat to lose a bit of the feel of the changeup and curveball that he was even able to use as a college pitcher. That's why I specifically was so excited about Sproat coming up, because he had such advanced feel in the lower level of the minors that you don't see from pitchers. But then getting that possibly 60, 70 great pitch on a sweeper is worth it to see if then you can find those other pitchers off it again. And over this last month, as he's been better against lefties, we've shouted this out in the podcast before, he's found a better feel again for that changeup and curveball while maintaining that great sweeper shape. Up to 97, 98 miles an hour with the fastball and the sinker, gyro slider in between all of it. Like it's all very nice for Brandon Sproat. And I still think that, especially in terms of when next year begins, we got a solid mid-rotation guy here who should be here for a long time doing that.
Oh, definitely. All right, number 6, I'm going with Lucas Duda 2.0, Ryan Clifford. Who'd you have?
Okay, so I had Clifford a little bit further down my list within my top 10. My number 6, Elian Pena.
Oh, okay. I had him at number 10. I had Elian Pena at 10. I had to get him on there for sure.
Yeah, I just went a little crazy because this is the kind of thing where we paid him a ton of money. He was regarded as one of the best international prospects in that class. The 60 grade hit tool that we talked about when the Mets signed him. It's only been given out a handful of times to guys like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And I think the other one was I can't remember the other 60 grade hit tool. Oh, I remember who it was. It was the bad guy.
It's the really bad guy. I was like, I think you know who this is.
Now I remember who it is. I'm not going to say his name, but
I think Jackson Holliday also got one too, didn't he?
I'm talking about purely international guys.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So at that time, it's like when you see a guy listed with those three in any way, talent, grade, whatever, I give you a lot of credit there. And it's funny. We saw a lot of Elian Pena's mental fortitude during the beginning of the season, the DSL, because he went 0 for 26 to start his professional baseball career. That would break many people, many 16-year-olds, especially 17-year-olds.
Hilarious, because remember, he was getting comped to Rafael Devers a lot, and Devers did the exact same thing to start his season this year.
That is true. I didn't even think about that. But since that happened, that he got his first hit on June 14th. So he got 1,000 OPS, 6 home runs, 18 stolen bases since then. And a guy like Pena, you have to dominate the DSL to be considered any kind of prospect. So again, right now he's dominating DSL. So I'm considering, especially thinking a little bit more ceiling than floor on my list. I'm going to check back in a year. Maybe if he's doing the same thing in single A, then we're on a rocket ship. But right now, just in terms of the physical abilities he's have, the highest international signing bonus the Mets have ever given out, I'm valuing Pena very highly on my list.
Yeah, and he's 17 years old. Still a lot of time left with him. He's a kid. He's literally not even a legal adult
actually
yet.
A kid.
So, yeah, literally a child that we're talking about how good he is at baseball in terms of a major league organization. But I think regardless, he's a top 10 prospect in the system. Where'd you end up putting Clifford? Let's talk about him.
All right, so I had Clifford after another tier of hitters I'm going to have next year in that tier, but number 9.
Okay, yeah. So I put Clifford at 6 just simply because I think he's just going to be a good major league player. Like, it just seems like we're at the point now where we know what he is, and it's just Lucas Duda again. And if Lucas Duda played in modern baseball now, like, he just missed the timing for being like that player that all these, like, he would have, I mean, the Rays did trade for him, but he'd be a Ray, he'd be a Brewer, he'd be
a modern
like,
Red Sox.
He'd probably be on the Marlins. Like, they probably would have loved him too, like right now, a modern Red Sox. Like, Clifford gets on base a ton. When he swings the bat, which is not often, he hits the ball really hard. He's got a 145 or 147 WRC plus on the season between AA and AAA. Just got promoted to AAA with all these other guys. I think he's just a good baseball player. Like, I don't think he's going to be Pete Alonso ever at the plate. I don't think he's going to have that kind of offensive ceiling, but you might see a season or two, kind of like with Lucas Duda, where like, oh, like 30, 35 home runs and OPS around 900 getting on base. Like, he's a good baseball player.
I also think that similarly that we talked about with Sproat, there is some prospect fatigue setting in with Clifford. Because I know he was a fringy top 100 guys in a bunch of these lists when he was crushing the ball in high A for the Astros. And when we made the trade for him, Justin Verlander, him and Drew Gilbert. But now, for a guy like Clifford, the biggest thing he does is hit the ball incredibly hard. So
he's only 21.
That's the thing. So while we don't have data on him right now, once we start to get some AAA data rolling in, and if we see Ryan Clifford 114, 115, 116 mile an hour exit velocity, and that's all in the tank, because when he was 19 at A-ball, the Astros, they were reports of 110s, 111s, even when he was a perfect game and he was a high schooler being drafted with one of the biggest slot bonuses in that 2022 draft as a Vanderbilt commit that the Astros stole because they were also doing something the Mets were doing where they were still in the back end of losing all of their picks and all the bonus pool money from the Jeff Luhnow cheating fiasco. And they were like, we just have to get blue chippers in this system as quick as possible. So Clifford, when we get data, he might get to now shoot back up. And I was surprised looking at some of Clifford's play discipline stuff that he only had a 10% swing strike rate, considering he's like an absolute true three outcome guy with 26% strikeout rate and a 14% walk rate this year in 100 games AA. So you're mostly getting, and that's with 24 home runs. So most of Ryan Clifford's at plate appearances ended with a strikeout, a walk, or a homer. But the fact that at least he's not whiffing, he's choosing the right ones to swing at mostly, that tells me that there is more plate discipline upside on Clifford. And then maybe we actually can get some kind of 10% walk rate guy in the major leagues. Because I looked at that, and I know we always compare him to Duda. is the same plate discipline numbers as those good duty years. The same swing strike. The swing rate's a little lower. Clifford swings like 34% of pitches, which is comically low. This year, Double A was actually it could take back up to 40%, but it was a similar swing rate, swing strike rate, called strike rate as those good years of Lucas Duda in the major leagues, which is so funny.
And I know people like hear Lucas Duda and they're like, like they cringe, but it's like he was good. Like he had good seasons with this team. The Mets, if the 2025 New York Mets had Lucas Duda playing DH on this team, it would run away with the division. Like it would be crazy what a bat like that could do.
And Clifford's about to be like the youngest guy at AAA, turning 22 years old. He just turned 22 years old a few weeks ago. So it's like this is age to level. It's still shocking how advanced he is. So I think that the prospect fatigue has set in. He's definitely a top 10 prospect in the system to me.
Yes.
And a lefty
Number
bat.
7.
Lefty bat, big.
Number 7, who do you got, James?
This is my guy. I don't think you like him as much. AJ Ewing.
I have him at 8.
Okay.
It's not that I don't like him. I think you probably do like him more than me. I do get worried about guys that are more like athleticism toolsy than necessarily like the big exit velo numbers. I've just been doing like a lot of looking into like videos recently, and like guys who can't hit certain exit velos that get this like kind of bump typically haven't panned out to be the greatest, like Gavin Lux.
Okay, what do you think AJ Ewing's max exit velocity is?
I think it's probably like 106, 107. What is it?
It's 111.
Then he's good.
We're back.
That's it. He hit the number. 110's the number. If you can hit 110, like as a prospect, there's real hype. I'll be honest, hand up. Did not know he had that exit velo.
There you go.
That's crazy. Okay, AJ Ewing.
That's what I'm saying.
Fuck yeah, I'm in.
That's what I'm saying. So I did a lot of digging on AJ Ewing because I knew I'd have to defend him on this ranking to you because I knew you didn't like him as much. So the public day that we had in AJ Ewing this year in low A St. Lucie, which he decimated, it was 109 mile an hour max exit velocity, a 40% hard hit rate, 104 mile per hour, 90th percentile exit velocity. But then I went to digging, and a friend of mine in the industry, Chris Clegg, who does great work at Dynasty Dugout, one of the most
he's awesome.
active and talented minor league people who make minor league content out there, said he had 111 max exit velocity in high A at Brooklyn.
That changes things, yeah.
111 in high A after the 109, especially as a high school draft pick, 2023, which could become one of those like special drafts for the Mets because that was Sproat, that was McLean. I think that was also that wasn't Judge. That was 2 years before. But
that was Tong.
Tong was 2022.
Oh, okay,
high school kid. Tong was a later pick too. Canadian Tong. Always forget that, but. The Mets just took him as a shortstop. Also from Ohio, AJ Ewing. You know how much I love those like those bad state prospects. I'm like, these guys want to play baseball 2 months a year. Let's get them out there for 11 months. Let's see what they can do. Shortstop to center field immediately. Plus athlete. Like 80 grade speed. Like he's stealing 40, 50 bases at these minor league levels in like 50, 60 games. He's an absolute lightning rod in the base paths. And he's a lefty bat, which I love. That puts a little bit less pressure on him because he can be a plus platoon guy, plus speed, plus defense. And again, seeing that 40% hard hit rate at low A, seeing that 111 max exit velocity from Chris Clegg at high A, and I was going back through some of Chris's content around that draft for the Mets because that was the Connor Houck draft.
Yes.
At the time, Colin Houck, sorry, he liked Ewing more than Houck as a prep prospect.
Whoa!
So I was like, hell yeah, ball knower right there.
All right, Clegg.
Yeah, huge shout there, but just a center fielder with plus speed, at least slightly 50th percentile power. Left-handed bat and growing fast in terms of his baseball skills. That to me is like bing, 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 like flashing lights.
Kratz, tell everyone why they need to look into a virtual private network, aka a VPN.
It's kind of like wearing trousers. It keeps everything private and secure whenever you venture out.
That's good. That's really good. And Surfshark creates user-friendly privacy and security solutions to protect your data and your privacy online. It enables you to virtually explore the globe, browse privately by encrypting your internet activity, and block ads and malware that may disrupt your experience. So go to surfshark.com/foul or use the code FOUL at checkout at surfshark.com to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. It's a risk-free 30-day money-back guarantee, and the FT fam is hooked up with 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN when you sign up at surfshark.com and use the code FOUL. It is time to take control of your online security. Try Surfshark today.
Oh yeah, no, knowing that exit velo now, that changes everything. Because I mean, that's a huge difference from where I thought he was. Because again, the publicly available data, I'm like,
well, so
like
it was still 109 publicly.
Yeah, that was a ground ball. I don't know. Sometimes
right.
I get a little bit worried about the one blip. I know, I get worried about that one blip.
Yeah.
But knowing the other stuff that you just told me that I didn't have access to, oh yeah, no, I get it now. And like you mentioned, the fact that he's able to play center field, the fact he's got the left-handed bat is really, really intriguing. You don't see that too often.
Like, this is also going to sound funny, but as a prospect comp, if he becomes left-handed Harrison Bather, the Mets get 6 years of free left-handed Harrison Bather. That's such a tremendous win for a fourth-round high school bat.
Which is hilarious because I felt like he was this year's Morabito, who we were like, if he's Harrison Bader for a couple of years, amazing. Now it's like, this might actually be the Harrison Bader.
Might be real-life Harrison Bader. And again, as a lefty, left-handed Harrison Bader is crazy. And it is still, the contact profile is not great. It's not enough pulse, not enough lift, but he's a kid. He's getting to double A this age while he's a baby. He's 46 years old. He was just a kid. But frankly, Philly Atardo, I'm getting all my names wrong today. But like, the floor here is crazy with the speed and defense and athleticism.
Where'd you have Wenninger? Because that was my number 7.
He's my 10.
Okay. So talk a little bit about Wenninger, because I had him at number 7. He's a guy who, like, stuff-wise, doesn't have what Tong has, doesn't have what McLean has, doesn't have what Sproat has. But then you look at the numbers and it's like he strikes everybody out and he doesn't really walk anybody. Like, it's kind of a cool profile that the Mets don't have a lot of, where it's just swing and miss, control, strikes.
Yes. And the thing about Wenninger, too, similar we talked about with Sproat, it seemed like the Mets put a lot on his plate quickly. Like, he was just like a piggyback 3-inning starter last year at St. Lucie. And now this year, it's just like rocket ship to the moon. And I don't think he gets enough credit for the stats he's compiled. Like, not just in the Mets organization, in terms of like all AA pitchers. He's consensus like one of the 2 or 3 best guys. Because, like we said, all those stats about Tong, how he had the most strikeouts by this much, the best K rate, the best strikeout minus walk rate. Wenninger second in all of those in the entire Eastern League. And something that Wenninger is that he's a changeup first righty. But now I've learned that's a splitter, not a changeup. So that initially, that's a big tick in his direction. And then on top of that, the pitch has a 50% whiff rate this season. That was data I got from my guy TJ Stats, which is crazy. So if that works against both sides, it's amazing. And he now has more velocity. He was a 92-90. He was a 90-91 guy at Illinois. Again, cold pitcher. Love that.
Love it.
Love it. 92-93 last year. 94-95 this year from a high slot with good extension. He manipulated his slider. He's worked on a sinker. Now he's working on a curveball. He's a strike thrower. Like, he's still my 10 just because it's not super standout anything besides that splitter. So there probably still is a ceiling of a mid rotation guy, but I love seeing the growth. I like seeing a wide pitch mix being set up. I like seeing this velocity growth. Because now, if that gets up to 96, 97, then he would jump up to that like top 5 range for me, similar to you have him now. But statistically scouting him, he's fantastic.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, no, definitely good. At number 8, I had AJ Ewing. We just talked about him. Who'd you have at number 8?
Mine was Reimer.
Okay, Reimer was my 9.
There you go. So we the exact same top 10. Cool. Good on us.
Wait, who'd you have at 9?
Clifford.
Oh, okay, yeah, exact same top 10. Literally the 10. Man, we're the worst. Sorry, guys.
Terrible. But I guess the last guy to talk about here in this list is Reimer. He's along with Ewing, he's the big helium guy in the system this year, where now like he's stretched out to a top 50 overall prospect on Baseball Prospectus and Fangraphs. I'm not sure at Baseball America, but I think they had him close to there as well, at least in the top 100.
I'll look up Baseball America.
Give me a quick check, but like it's crazy power gains on Jacob Reimer. Do you remember when we met Reimer when he got drafted in 2022?
Yeah, he came up to me. He was like, "Can I take a selfie?" He's a huge fan of my Giraffe Neck Mark videos. I was like, "Wait, did you just get drafted?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "This is not how this is supposed to work." So he's a good kid. I mean, he clearly knows ball if he's listening to us. But the one thing that is so interesting to me about Reimer is that he's like a third baseman. Like, that's his position. Like, maybe he might even end up being a first baseman
or DH,
possibly or DH. So that makes me be like, is his hit tool really that good? Where we're seeing like Prospectus, like you said, put him in like the top 50. The hit tool must be insane.
They put him in the top 50, like stipulating that it's not a consensus top 50 guy, and there's a lot of risk that can take him out. It kind of felt like our guy Rob, who knows everything, talked about this, like the same way that Jesus Baez, now a member of the Cardinals organization, kind of rose up last year, like similar age, level, and stuff. But Reimer physically...
Reimer not top 100 on Baseball America.
Okay, there's that then. But Reimer physically is like a monster now. Have you seen these videos of him? Have you seen the size of him compared to the 18-year-old we saw a few years ago?
I think he's gained a couple inches. I think he was like 6 feet tall when the Mets drafted him. He's like 6'2", 200 now.
Yeah, I think he's gained
brick shit house.
Yeah, I think he's gained 2 or 3 inches and 30 or 40 pounds. It's a lot of chicken rice going on with Jacob Reimer. And just having a 220 ISO in Brooklyn as a 21-year-old is not a joke. Like, that's an eye-popping number. And that's after he was hanging around 100 ISO between like the CPX and the low levels of the complex and low levels of minors the last few years. And like that, with him looking beefy, strong, and being able to steal some bases, like that probably just tells me this is a guy that can hit at the major league level. And especially like all the underlying data that we have in low A was amazing. It was a high zone contact. It was low chase. It was good exit velocities. Like to me, it's a slightly better profile than Clifford, but many levels younger and a similar age.
One thing that I do love from reading about him on Baseball America, so shout out to them as always. Reimer is heavily invested in learning about his swing. He's it seems like he's a stat analysis research nerd, which is also really good in an organization that seems to love that kind of stuff as well.
And like visually watching the Reimer swings when he was on the prep circuit and then watching the swings he made at Brooklyn, I'm like, this looks like a different swing. He just had a walk-off home run too, one of his first games for Binghamton at AA. It was the same with Weninger. Like watching the videos of Weninger from college, he looks like he's a totally different pitcher physically now with the Mets.
Yes.
Like really driving more, extending more, just like kind of taking off the mound more. Like now it's obvious you could pick up 4 or 5 miles an hour like that, but like Reimer, it's a lot of good underlying data, and the shot to play third base has him a tick ahead of Clifford for me. But also right-handed batter compared to left-handed batter. I link those guys very closely, but I think that right now we're seeing a little bit better from Reimer, so I put him a little bit ahead.
Anybody you want to just throw some flowers to as a little honorable mention? I have a couple names.
Oh, I have a couple names too. I do want to do Mitch Voigt because we have seen good exit velocity data for him in low A. He looks way too advanced for that level. And just seeing how we developed Benge this year, now I'm just getting really excited about Voigt because people have comped him as like similar profile player. I also, Will Watson, he's my favorite for just like pitch specs. Like I considered him over Weninger at 10 because he has that beautiful silky low slot fastball that we love to see with the high IVB. And then this is one from Isaac, the pitching guru, Isaac Groffman.
Okay. Yes, love to hear from Isaac.
Franklin Gomez, single A pitcher for the Mets right now.
No clue who that is.
He's just like, he looks like he looks like Framber Valdez, and he pitches like him too. It's a big curveball. It's like the 2 planes on it, and a sinker that looks like it'll play at any level.
Sounds cool to me.
Yeah.
I'm interested in that. I am going to give a little bit of a shout out to Colin Houck. While he has been a forgotten prospect, he has been playing better this season. So just keep that in mind, former first-round pick. And then a couple guys in the DSL have been playing well. Edward Lantigua, who's someone that we mentioned in our OOTP simulation, and also Giovanni Rodriguez, both hitting the ball really well down in the DSL.
Yep, and then another one I wanted to mention, just Eli Serrano. He's kind of getting sapped up right now as a left-handed power hitter in Brooklyn, but he's still at least hitting better than league average, still 22 years old, so age to level appropriate, someone who looks like they could be maybe sneak into the back of these top 10s when we get some of these graduations this year. And then also just the prep pitchers in this draft, especially Peter Kusal, just like thinking about the physicality of some of these guys that I know they're going to get to this pitching lab and do crazy things.
And you know what? One more shout out. Shout out Kevin Parada, 121 WRC plus in AA this year.
There we go. Why not?
That's something to note.
For sure.
I actually think that's really good for Kevin Parada, future of being a Major League Baseball player, possibly.
Yeah, potentially being the Kevin Plawecki he was always intended to be.
Yes, you're the prodigal son, Kevin Plawecki part 2. All right, guys, that's it. Let us know who you guys think should have been in our top 10 list. Who's your favorite prospect? We'd love to see that in the comment section. If you're listening to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download and subscribe. James, social media, what's it at?
James Shiano.
I'm Draftnik Mark with a C. Thank you guys for listening and watching. We will catch you all after the Mariners series. Please, Nolan McLean, be good. Please.
Let's go. Save the season, Nolan, please. See you guys next time.